Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. So in today's video I have for you guys 10 palettes I almost bought in 2020, but I didn't. I held back, I composed myself, and I didn't pick these palettes up. There might still some of these be in my radar to pick up sometime, but as of right now, they were launching and I was wanting them and I held myself together and I didn't pick them up. So if you want to know what palettes I was eyeing but didn't pick up, then definitely continue watching. Also, if you're not yet subscribed, please subscribe. If you want to know what palettes I was eyeing but not buying, then definitely continue watching. So I have my phone here and we're gonna go ahead and get started. The first palette I put on my list here is the NikiTutorials x Beauty Bay palette. I remember when she was gonna come out this collaboration and I was like, ooh, I'm so excited to see what it is. I saw the packaging, I'm like, ooh, that's pretty cool, it's pretty unique. And then she opened up the inside and I was just like, I was very interested to pick it up and to support her, but the color story was kind of like the shimmers looked super nice, but the mattes kind of looked kind of all over the place. I do wear color, but I'm one to kind of wear like monochromatic looks mostly. Here and there I will throw in like colors that aren't monochromatic, the same color story, but most of the time if I am wearing a colorful look, it's kind of around the same color story, like monochromatic. So I don't know, I saw like a random blue, a red, a like purple all, and I was just like, I feel like it's too like crazy color story in there. So I decided to pass on it. I have heard mixed reviews on it. Some people love it and some people do not. So I don't know. I do kind of still want it, but I don't know, as of right now, I did pass on it. Next up, I have 3 from Natasha Denona. The first one is the Bronze palette, the Glam palette, and then the Trichrome palette. So the Bronze came out first and then the Glam palette did. So the Bronze one is obviously the bronze, the warm tone palette. I was interested in it because it's more on the affordable side of Natasha Denona, the $65, I believe. And then I was like, no, you don't really wear like those kinds of warm tone looks every single day. And since I've worn warm tone looks so much that I'm kind of tired of warm tone looks, so I decided to pass on it. And then a few months later, maybe the Glam palettes came out and that was a cool tone palette. And I was like, wow, that's really cool and this and that. Like that I should probably get instead because I don't have a lot of cool tone palettes in my collection. And then again, I just kind of put it in my cart and never checked out. And then when I watched some reviews, they were mentioning how it was super similar to the Sultry palette by eBates. I do have that and I do like it, so I decided to pass on that one. And then when the Natasha Denona Triochrome came out, I was like, oh yes, I'm picking that up. I kind of had wished it was $65 instead of $129, but then again, once I saw reviews and saw that there's pretty much only 3 Trichrome shades in the palette and they aren't like super like reflective and pigmented, I decided to pass on that as well. I was definitely gravitated towards the color stories in there, but I'm like, I'm gonna pay for a Trichrome palette that only has 3 shades in there. Like maybe I should just pass on that, so I did. Next up, I have the Artist Couture Supreme Nudes palette. That one I still want. I kept going back and forth wanting to pick it up. He did have a sale during Black Friday, which was only like $10 off. I don't know, I just decided not to pick it up. I have seen it out of stock at Sephora. I do have enough points to redeem $10, which now that I'm thinking about it, I wonder if those points expire because I'm barely gonna be VIB. Last year was the last year I was Rouge, this year I was VIB, and I think I'm like $90 away to keep my VIB status, so I don't know if the points expire. Let me know if you guys do know that, but I was thinking about using my $10 reward on with that palette because I hear really good things about that palette. A lot of people really like it. You can't unfortunately like use coupon codes at Sephora and try to use your $10 off because I have tried and it didn't let me. So I think that is one that I might still pick up. I did put it on my Christmas list, so maybe Santa will bring it to me, who knows. But yeah, that was definitely one that I kept going back and forth on. Even on my Poshmark, there was a couple people that were selling it and I had a credit, and when I went back to actually buy it, it had already sold. So definitely one that the Artist Couture one is one that I'm kind of like, you should get it. Next up, the Too Faced Natural Nudes palette. I remember when this first came out, a lot of people were raving about this palette. Is it called Natural Nudes? I kind of just wrote it down to try to remember the palette that I wanted to talk about. So it's the Born This Way, the Natural Nudes Eyeshadow Palette by Too Faced. So I don't really buy natural, everyday, neutral brown kind of palettes. I always have like some kind of color, pop of colors in palettes, purples, burgundies, like it's never just like brown tones. So that's why I kept going back and forth. So when this palette first came out, a lot of people were raving about it, how the shimmers in here were really nice, the mattes were really nice, that it was a really pigmented palette and it was definitely worth picking up. But I just haven't. I don't really just buy neutral toned palettes. If you guys watch my channel, you know that I pretty much always have like colorful color stories. So I don't know, like this is one that I do have my eye on, and I have put it in my cart and taken it out, especially like to use my Ulta points. I just keep going back and forth, and actually a lot of people haven't really been raving about that palette lately. I feel like it's on to the next thing. Lately I feel like I have my eye on like older releases, and then like a month later is when I pick it up. I think that's good because it's not like impulse buying for me. Now it's like, okay, I didn't pick it up when it first came out and I kind of still want it, so maybe I should pick it up. So that, I guess that's like a good thing. Problem to have, you know, like not picking it up right away, because sometimes you kind of have regrets picking up something you don't initially like really wanted. BH Cosmetics Sweep Shop palettes. Oh my gosh, I missed out on those palettes. Everybody's been raving about them. I know they are launching already back on the 11th or the 12th on the BH site. I don't know if they'll be back at Ulta. I know they do still have the red tone palette at Ulta because I have had that one in my cart and then taking it out. I'm interested in the red one, in the green one. I'm not big on blue, but it's kind of like, come here, Mariela, come and bring me into your collection. Those ones I've heard such good things about. I think they were limited edition, and I hope they're bringing them back permanent. I'm not sure, but I know they are bringing them back, and I heard that they're really, really nice. I know BH Cosmetics has been stepping up their formula. I really enjoyed their stuff before, but lately it seems like their formulas are actually really nice. I'm definitely interested in picking up some of these Sweet Shop or Shopee palettes. I don't know if I'll pick them up right when they launch again, but I'm definitely interested to bring in a few, at least the red and the green one, into my collection. Next up, I have the NYX Ultimate Utopia palette. I believe that is what it's called. Let me double check here. Yeah, Ultimate Utopia Shadow Palette. This is by NYX Cosmetics. I feel like the color story is beautiful. I did have this in my cart and then ended up taking it out. I said, okay, it's a $35 palette. NYX Cosmetics goes on sale a lot, so maybe I'll wait, and once they have a sale, maybe put it back in my cart. And I just never did. I don't really see a lot of people using this palette. I do have a similar palette like layout, and I do like it a lot as well. I just feel like it's more of a palette that has pretty much every shade, like warms, cools, blues, greens, like a little bit of everything. But this one is just like super beautiful, and I kind of still want it. I think the color story is really pretty, and I do like the formula that I have of this layout. I think the formula is really, really nice. So that is one that I thought of picking up, but then I never did. And then the last palette I want to share with you guys is by Huda Beauty. This is the Khaki Haze palette. I remember when she launched, like, what, it was 3 or 4 palettes, the little minis, and the Khaki Haze was the one that I was gravitated towards, and it was definitely those like olivey brown colors. But again, once I started seeing some reviews, some people were not liking the formula. Some, you know, it was 50-50, some people did, but I was mostly seeing people saying they're not that good, don't pick them up, and that is why I didn't. So what I did was kind of, in my mind, I guess, or my fingers, I just kind of go on my phone and kind of block the colors that I'm most interested in a palette, and then I kind of see what else is in the palette, because when you see something new, you kind of just gravitate towards the shade, and then that shade is probably what made you buy the palette. So sometimes when I'm not sure if I should pick something up or not, that's what I do. I'll like cover up like certain colors, or take a screenshot and then go in my Draw app and just kind of blacken out the color and then kind of see the rest of the color story. And then I was like, okay, this is pretty much like a neutral shade with a couple pops of olive in there. I don't need this palette. I do like the little 9-pan, is it 9? Yeah, 9-pan Huda Beauty palette. I liked the formula, so I was gonna pick it up, but I don't know, some people said this formula wasn't that great in that palette. Yeah, those are the palettes I almost bought in 2020, but I didn't. Some of these I still have my eye on, and some of them I will probably just pass on. So let me know what 2-3 palettes you have your eye on that you haven't picked up yet and you'd love to check out. I am going to be filming a palette I didn't want but I did buy, so that will be coming after this video, so definitely stay tuned. Yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Please also subscribe if you haven't already, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye!